All right, welcome to the next edition of the Facebook Club tonight. I'm here with Jesse and Joey this evening. How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Can you guys hear me? Good.
Yeah, I
Oh,
was
oh,
I
good.
was letting
How was it?
Jesse was asking how you were, and I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh, I did not hear him for some reason, but I'm doing good. Can you hear me, Jesse?
I can hear you.
Oh, I cannot hear you for some reason. Huh. Let me refresh my page, and you go ahead, Joey, of what you want to talk about. I'll be right back.
So the big one right now, Anaheim Angels fall from heaven, 17-34 through their first 51 games.
Mm.
Mike Trout trade rumors are swirling. However, he's owed $148.46 million over the next 4 seasons, not accounting for this one on that 11-year, $426.5 million contract. I know there was rumors swirling that he was possibly going to the Red Sox. Does Boston need Mike Trout if they want to
No,
move forward?
no. The reason why is because they have too many outfielders.
Well, another thing is they have no room in DH. Like the
Yes.
most logical play, even if they send him to his hometown in Philly, there's no place for him there either.
Do you
Brandon
think?
March, his Brandon Marsh, his ex teammate, is a lot better defensively, and you look who's your DH in Philly, anyways. Schwarber's DHing there,
Yeah.
and then if you wanted to move him to first base, Harper's playing first base. So who really has room for Trout that's not named the Yankees?
No.
And I
Jesse,
doubt he goes to the Dodgers.
do you think Jesse Trout will get traded this year?
If he does, whichever team lands him is gonna be in the hole for that contract.
Mm.
Well, we talked payrolls before. I have paper right here. So no, that's not paper. That's something important. So I can't write on that. But, no, that's the biggest thing is if you don't have, because that's why the salary cap in baseball has become such a problem too. I know we're talking about Trout here, but I'm talking about the salary cap intertwining it within. Mike
Yeah.
Trout had the $426 million contract, which was the biggest contract in baseball at the time of his signing. But now
Yeah.
he's a DH center fielder. He gets off days. He doesn't play full seasons anymore.
Nope.
And his team just got lost 3 out of 4
Oh,
at home.
let's talk about what happened the other day. The no hitter collapse.
Oh, yeah. Such a rare occasion it has become for a no hitter to even get as far as it has. When you get to 2 outs, you get to the last 3 outs and heading into the ninth inning.
Yep.
JT Ginn was 3 outs away from the first no hitter against the Angels since 1999. I don't remember. I don't know who the pitcher was last time they got no hit, but all I know is the A's JT Ginn came within 3 outs of a no hitter. He gave up a leadoff single to Adam Frazier, did not get an out in the inning, and he gave up a walk-off home run to the next batter. That
Yeah.
is not the first time this has happened, actually. This is one of the few times it has happened where a team has won with one hit. The last time
Well,
I
actually,
remember
it was two because of that base hit by Fraser, then the walk off home run by whoever his name was.
yeah, I think it was Zach Neto,
Sagnano. Yeah.
but I'm getting back to what I was talking about. That's not the first time that's happened where a team is won was being no hit and then won in their final at bat. The most famous example that I know of was Rich Hill against Pittsburgh.
Mm.
He went into the 10th inning with a perfect game, and
Oh no.
I think that was it. It was Rich
A
Hill
perfect
versus.
game.
I'm not sure. I think it was either perfect game or no hitter. Rich Hill. Yeah, he was pulled during a perfect game. He one time, but I'm not sure. Here it is. August 23rd, 2017 was the date this happened. Rich Hill was pitching for the Dodgers at the time. It was a 1-0 loss in 10 innings. So what happened? Let me see. Okay. So there was it was the first time that a no-hitter had been carried at the time into extra innings since Pedro Martinez did it on June 3rd of 1995.
Yeah.
And what the issue was Rich Hill only threw 95 pitches heading into that 10th inning where he'd given up no hits. First batter in the bottom of the 10th inning, he gives up his only hit of the game, and it's a walk-off home run to Josh Harrison. The only hit you give up and you lose on one swing. And he almost had a perfect game in that same game, and he lost the perfect game. He lost the no-hitter. That's the unfortunate part of baseball. You think you've got something, and then unfortunately,
just like with
grasp.
Was it Yamamoto last year in Baltimore?
No, I knew you were going to bring that up. Oh no, I knew he was going to bring that up. The live stream. I forgot about that live stream last year. Yamamoto was 2 outs away from a no-hitter. He gives up a home run to, I think it was Gunnar Henderson, and then the bullpen just imploded after that. They won, I think it was 5. It was either 6-3 or 5-3. I don't really. All I remember was the bullpen fell apart.
The Angels walk-off home run reminded me so much of that game last year. It reminded me so much.
That's why they say don't leave the stadium early. Don't leave
Yes.
early. And that's specifically why. But still, no, there hasn't been a no-hitter now since 2024, going on 2 years.
We may never see one again for a long time.
Well, let's see. Last no-hitter. There we go.
Especially with the way managers keep getting the bullpens.
So the last one was by a guy who's not even on their roster anymore. Well, this was the last individual one. Blake Snell, who is injured again, by the way. Haven't mentioned that yet. But Blake Snell was the last no-hitter by an individual pitcher on August 2nd. So in August, if we get that far, it'll be 2 years. But the last no-hitter was a combined no-hitter by the Cubs against the Pirates, September 4th of 2024. Shota Imanaga, Nate Pearson, and Porter Hodge. So yeah, it's been a long time. 20 months, I believe they said it was. So we're rounding up on just about 4, in about a little less than 4 months, we will have gone 2 full calendar years almost without a no-hitter. And perfect game, it's going to be going on 3 years. Domingo Germán was the last one to do it in Oakland against the Athletics.
I wonder if Chelsea remembers that, because I hate to see it with that Yankees team. I hate they had to do that.
It's funny because that perfect game actually ruined his career. People forget about that. He doesn't even play organized baseball right now.
Yeah. No.
Speaking of not being able to play organized baseball, Yasiel Puig is he may or may not be going to jail based on his gambling addiction, where he was having. Yes, I talked about this a little bit in our group chat. but Yasiel Puig is 5 days away from his court date. Playing up in Canada for the Toronto Maple Leafs in the Canadian Baseball League right now, playing left field. Wearing his number 66, but that's just it. He's 5 days away from sentencing, and he can get up to 20 years in prison.
You know,
Oh God! Wow.
Yeah, no.
that's what him and the Red Ranger have in common. Fraud.
Yeah, fraud. There you go. And it's funny because you think about a guy who he had a career up until a couple years ago. He had a career, but he ended up going and playing in Korea for 2 seasons, and then he didn't play baseball in 2020, 2021, 2023, or 2024.
How old is he now?
He is getting close to 40. He's 35 years old. So if he does go to jail, he'll be 55 when he gets out. But I want to read this right. So
I was wondering what you were referencing about the 5 days to go thing.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about. So we're going on a month now since he signed with the Canadian Baseball League, and the agreement was apparently the largest contract in Canadian Baseball League history. But here's the problem with that. He is officially going to go. And here it is. He was found guilty on February 6th, 2026 of 2 federal charges, making false statements to investigators and obstructing justice. The guilty findings could result in up to 20 years imprisonment, and the sentencing is May 26th, 2026. So there's that. Up to 20 years. If he had just kept out of his own way, he would be playing Major League Baseball right now. Do I think anybody would have him on their team? No. He's 35 years old. JD Martinez doesn't have a team right now, but Nick Castellanos does. I still don't. That still makes it hurts. It makes my head.
I just wish that JD Martinez could be, I don't know. Stuck around. I mean, the Mets need him. Like, the reason why I believe they did not go back to the postseason last year is because they didn't have JD Martinez back. He was like the core of that team the year before. That was that protection for Pete Alonso.
Well, let me see. JD Martinez is 38, and he hasn't retired yet. But he hasn't played in over a full calendar year now. His last game was September 30th, 2024 for the Mets.
Yep.
And
he played in postseason, right?
I don't think they made the playoffs in 24 though.
I thought they did with the Brewers and all that stuff last 2024.
New York Mets. Let me see. Because they won today.
Yeah.
I know that was a shock.
Mets keep rolling over the Nats. Behind a dominant display from the bullpen, the New York Mets squeezed out a 2-1 victory over the Washington Nationals. Bo Bichette provided the definite spark with a crucial 2-run base hit, continuing the Mets' strong momentum following their dramatic Subway Series win over the Yankees last weekend.
I mean, after everything they've gone through this season, truly, for them to be 6 games under 500 now after being 9-19 just a few weeks back, they've gone 13-9 since then. Meanwhile, over in Philadelphia, things have not changed. Well, they were good, and then they hit a wall like the Pirates did recently. But David's right. 2024, they did have a wild card series, but I thought that was the one where they lost out to the what's it called? Not the Brewers, but they didn't. I'm not thinking that they beat the Brewers so much as I thought that was the series they lost to the. Oh, that's right, the Pete Alonso 3-run homer. That's right.
Yeah.
And then they made it to the NLCS, and then they lost to the Dodgers. So it didn't really matter. But that was such a weird season for them anyways. And then Martinez, he's not retired. He might as well be, though. The Mets hired him on March 31st to serve as a special advisor within the team's baseball operations department.
Huh.
So,
This
yeah,
year?
no, he's still there. It's just that he's not doing anything in particular right now. Like, there's plenty of players out there that are free agents right now that haven't been touched. And it's weird.
He was hired this year?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So he's not technically retired yet, but he's pretty much done. Because come to find out, Zach Greinke's not retired either. That's the thing that gets me.
He
But
was a
he's
good
like
pitcher.
43 now, so he hasn't pitched in years. So
He was a good pitcher.
the thing that bothers me about his career, he finished like 30 strikeouts from 3,000. 30.
Oh.
He didn't even retire. That's the thing, that he was so bad in his last seasons in Kansas City. I guess he just said, I'm done, without making it public. So there's that. But he was
There's
such
players
a
who
too.
hang on, and then there's players who just don't retire, like Jeff George, for example.
Oh God, I remember him trying to get a job in 2006. That was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That was when he was trying to go back to the Raiders, I think, when Kerry Collins got hurt the second time. Like I said, there's a number of things they could be doing, but let's.
Yeah.
I'm checking
I
something.
don't know. I mean,
So,
I wish there was
these
a
are
way
the
for
guys who are
baseball
still
to
unsigned, by the way.
get these agents
Go ahead,
to.
David. Go ahead.
I wish there was a way in Major League Baseball for unsigned agents to get signed.
I mean, it's entirely based on needs. That's all it really is. It's need based. But
yeah.
the big ones that I see right now, stupid ads all over the site. But the big ones I see right now, I'm surprised Charlie Morton's still available. You've got Justin Wilson, Max Kepler's serving a suspension, Andrew Chafin, Charlie Morton, Ryan Brazier, Jorge Lopez, DJ LeMahieu is an assistant in the Yankees organization now.
Yeah.
Don't know who Dari Moreta is. Tim Anderson, after he got knocked down by Jose Ramirez, is still a free agent. Tyler Anderson, Luis Garcia. He's not even 30, and he's a free agent. Stroman can't get along with anybody. Hunter Strickland couldn't find the strike zone. Kopech, 30 years old and already burnt out of baseball. Liam Hendricks actually does have a team. I forget who he signed with. I think he's with the Cubs now in the minors. Donovan.
Oh yeah, I think
Yeah.
he came back.
He just signed with the Cubs again, so he's in the minors for them.
Going to the opposite side of his former team.
Well, he pitched for the Cubs, I believe. So, and then you got Jesse Winker, Wade Miley, Luke Jackson, Manuel Margot, another good speed threat, only 31. Wade Miley's 39 though, so I would kind of advise against that. But there's a couple older guys out there. Justin Turner's still kicking around, 41 years old. Wilmer Flores is playing in the Mexican leagues. Jose Iglesias is a free agent at 36. Gio Urshela just retired. Chris Taylor, Yuli Gurriel, John Gray. I'm surprised he's out there. I think Jason Hayward retired. Scott Alexander. Nestor Cortez. Yeah, we're not going to talk about his career. Lamont Wade Jr. bounced around between a number of teams. Tom Murphy, Drew Smith, and Alex Cobb, I think, retired as well. And then there's several names that are just not showing up. Speaking of not showing up, Trevor Bauer is in the news again, and not in a positive way. He got into a wreck.
I
No
saw that
injuries,
recently.
but he ended up crashing his expensive car, a McLaren. I didn't even know how would you afford something like that on his budget when he's playing in the independent leagues now. I guess he spent his money wisely.
I know.
But still, Trevor Bauer being in the news once again for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, and he thinks that he's coming back to Major League Baseball. No.
No, that's a joke. That is a joke. As for most teams in the league right now, here are the standings. As we are, for certain teams, 50 games or more into the season. Other teams, only 48. So the AL East is like this. The Rays, the Yankees, the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, and the Orioles. The AL Central is once again a toss-up, with the only other team, and prepare to be shocked by this, the Chicago White Sox are above 500.
Damn.
25-24 in second place. Who had that on their bingo card this year? I didn't. Honestly, I didn't.
Probably a guy in our inner circle named Jesus.
Oh, I would be. I'm sure he's happy right now because he said, I think he said last year that everything was going to slowly come together. And I remember him talking about that. And that's great because I think the addition of Murakami has done them wonders, though. They finally found a guy who's not striking out every other at bat. Moncada was doing that for them for a number of years. But no, Murakami's going to lead them somewhere. I honestly think so. But they're going to have to fight for that wild card spot. But the rest of that division is under 500. The Twins are 23-27. The Royals are 10 under after being swept by the Red Sox. And then the Tigers are 20-31. Just about every team in the division except for the Guardians away from home are under 500. And the Royals and the Tigers are 1-9 in their last 10. The American League West, the Athletics with no home, lead the division by 1.5 games over the Rangers and 2.5 over the Mariners. The Astros are in fourth place. And then the Angels are in last place. Not too often can you say that. They're terrible at home. They're terrible on the road. They're 1-9 in their last 10 games, and they're 9.5 back. That team has had Jordan Romano and Alek Manoah on that team. Both Blue Jay All-Stars, by the way, and neither one of them could maintain a spot on the team. Yet Kirby Yates still has a job at 39 years old. The ex-Padre, may I add. But it's interesting to think that the Angels have fallen so far out of sight. They were 10-10 at one point, 11-10 through their first 21 games. Since then, they've gone 6-24 in their last 30 games. I don't remember a team having that poor of a stretch in a while. So my big thing is this. Mendoza has gotten better recently. Is Kurt Suzuki the next guy on the hot seat?
I believe so.
Jesse, what do you think?
I think so too.
I mean, to be 17 under 500 and you're not even a third of the way through the season. You're barely a third of the way through the season. How do you exactly go about this? Actually, no, we are almost a third of the season away. I just did the mental math. 54 games in is a third of the way through. So, but still, Suzuki is having one of the worst debut seasons as a manager. So I give him another maybe 10 games or so before he's gone. What about
Yeah.
you guys?
Maybe 30.
You're giving him till the All-Star break.
Yeah.
Jesse,
He
how
needs an
long do you
ulti-
give him?
He needs an ultimatum because if he can't turn things around, he's gone. I don't know what owner is gonna put up with that.
Well, to be blunt, Artie Moreno has never been great with big money contracts, and that albatross of a contract right now with Trout, where he's sitting in the 230 range. Yes, he's got a 400 on base, but he's not the contact hitter he wants. He's not the guy that was hitting for 300 average
It
with
sucks.
35 and 100.
It sucks because they have a cool stadium. They have great fans, and it's just and they play in one of the older MLB stadiums, and it's just they just I don't know what cursed them. I just don't know what cursed them since
Well, I think the big
2014.
thing is it's not so much that they're cursed. Well, you remember that brawl earlier this year, right? With Atlanta? That was the turning
Maybe.
point in their season, to me at least. Just in the wrong direction altogether. Because Jorge Soler was hitting the cover off the ball just about a month ago. And he's the other day, he's at 9 home runs. He had 5 in April. He's only got 9 now through May 21st, which is today. So I think that fight where he got tackled by Walt Weiss, that showed exactly how much fight the Angels had in them. So, unfortunately, that's just the way it is for them right now. And I will move on to the National League now. So we are now with the National League. A team has finally reached 5. Oh, sorry, David. Go ahead.
I'll be right back. You guys cannot take over for it, but
okay. So the biggest thing is now with the National League East, the Braves are 19 over 500 through their first 51 games. They're 16-8 at home, 19-8 on the road. And the only team that's close enough to them right now in that division is Philadelphia of all teams. Philadelphia has gone back to 500 after being 9-19. They've gone 16-6 since Mattingly has taken over. I do think that Don Mattingly did make a difference this time. But we're not quite a third of the way in because they're only a half game up on the Nationals. And then the Mets are coming on. They're out of last place, and the Marlins are in last now by a half game. Speaking of teams getting back to basics, the Milwaukee Brewers, who were a very potent all-star team last year, they're actually in first place. They usurped the Cubs recently for first place. And not too far behind are the Cardinals with a half-game deficit on the Cubs, who are 29-21. And then the Pirates and the Reds are tied for fourth place at 24-26. That division is not decided just yet, but however, every team has had a shot. The Cardinals have this tradition now that they're going through, and I find it funny because it's more of a college football thing where they have the dudes taking off their shirts in the stadium and everything. There's like about 300 people that do it, and they're all whirling their T-shirts around like it's a rally town. They just recently started doing that, and all of a sudden the team has caught fire. So I guess the weird tradition truly does work out for them. But the big thing now is the National League West. The Diamondbacks have seemingly come back from the dead and are 26-23, right smack in the middle of that NL West. Sadly, the Giants have just gone into a complete tailspin and are 20-30 and barely ahead of the Rockies, who are 19-32. For the Padres and the Dodgers, it's going to be a mean back and forth affair. They knocked them out of the playoffs in 2023, and then they lost the pennant, I believe, to Arizona that year. So, but the big thing is now, what do you think is going to affect the Padres the most going forward? Because they ended up losing their grip on that division because they won on Monday 1-0, and then they lost 5-4 to the Dodgers because their bullpen couldn't hold the tie, and Will Klein came in and shut them down, last year's World Series hero. I'm not sure what it's going to come down to, because another thing is, with the addition of Nick Castellanos to play the outfield, I'm not overly sure that the Padres are going to have enough oomph in their lineup going forth, because they lost to Shohei yesterday, and he only pitched 5 innings. Their bullpen went and got him out the rest of the way. But when your best hitter is playing second base, and he just barely hit his first home run this month, how much time are you giving on a timetable for whether or not they're going to just – it's not even so much make it. It's how much time do you give them before they fall behind the Dodgers and then the Diamondbacks take over second place? If anything, I give them I'd say 2 weeks, because they're going to be playing them a lot more come the summer. And I think if they lose more of the interdivision matchups against teams like the Diamondbacks, the Rockies, the Giants, and the Dodgers, they're going to fall down in the division. Honestly, I think they should get rid of Castellanos, because I haven't seen his stats recently, but he was driven out of Philadelphia for having booze in the clubhouse, which has always been a big no-no unless it's postseason time. But they still have a 71.7% chance of making the playoffs. But the big thing is Castellanos, he's hitting a $194.
That's it. That's not good.
No. He's 19 for 103, and I'm counting plate appearances here. 8 of his hits have been for extra bases. He's got 18 RBIs, which is good enough for 5th on the team. He's not been great. Actually, no. Fernando Tatis Jr. doesn't even have a home run. He has no home runs through 48 games this season. He's hitting .239, and I have to because I'm curious. He's in year 2021, 22. He's in year 6 of that contract now. That 14-year, $340 million contract. He's not been the same hitter since 2021, where he had that. He was 3rd in MVP. He had the All-Star nod, and he won the Silver Slugger. 25 home runs, 21 home runs, 25 home runs, 0 through 48 games. He's got 6 extra base hits. That's it. No home runs, 6 extra base hits. That means he's got 37 singles. He has more strikeouts than hits, more walks than extra base hits. He's not playing up to par. He's playing second base, he's DHing, and he's playing right field. He won a Gold Glove last year playing the outfield. But still, his defense is not great. His offense he's negative all around. And considering how much they're paying him, he's only getting paid $20 million this year. And then after that, 25, 25, 36, 36, 36, no opt-outs. So if you're Craig Stammen right now, the manager, do you drop Tatis in the order after yesterday's shutout?
Hell no. He's not performing.
Well, he's hitting .239 and they batted him leadoff yesterday. Like, how much more time do you give Tatis to get off the to get his bat hot, I guess you would say. Because 48 games and he's hit 37 singles for a guy who was supposed to be a 40-40 guy. That was his potential. So I honestly give him maybe another 2 to 3 weeks at the most, because I don't want a guy with 49 strikeouts batting leadoff. They already have that in Pittsburgh with O'Neal Cruz hitting top 3 and leading the league in strikeouts as a hitter. Speaking of the Pirates, because I'll get back to them right now, but the current situation of it all is this. Who is going to blink first when it comes to these teams? Because the Dodgers have 31 wins. The Padres are looking for win number 30. And they have the A's coming into town tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. And they have to win those games as they want to keep pace with the Dodgers. Dodgers have the Brewers coming into town, and the Dodgers are going to Milwaukee, and then the Dodgers have a 3-game series with the Rockies, and then they finish out with the Phillies at home for the first time, I think, this season. Well, that's got to suck because, this would be the first time that Phillies played in Dodger Stadium since the Kirkring era that ended the division series. So that's going to be quite rough for Philadelphia, considering their fortunes between the two teams have gone on different paths. But little entertainment here with the stats, because I always enjoy a good statistic. So O'Neal Cruz, comparing him and James Wood with everything that's going on right now, James Wood's actually the better hitter. Somehow, some way, he's the better hitter. But
who is that?
Huh? Oh, David.
Who is that?
Oh, I was talking about the difference between O'Neal Cruz and James Wood.
Okay.
Both outfielders, by the way. Because James Wood and O'Neal Cruz, they're top 3 in strikeouts across the entire league right now. The other guy is Zach Neto. He's got 73 strikeouts and 200 at-bats. That's almost a third of the time he's striking out. O'Neal Cruz has 78 strikeouts and 202 at-bats. So he's walked just 18 times and everything, but James Wood has more extra base hits, he has more home runs, and he has 40 walks. His on-base is 390. O'Neal Cruz is hitting 257, but his on-base is 324. If I'm the Nationals right now, I'm happier that O'Neal Cruz is not on my roster because James Wood is actually getting on base, and his OPS with his slugging is a 913. So there's that. But the biggest thing is there's a lot more walks this season, and I'm for it. Multiple players from 4 players in both leagues right now have more than 40 walks, and we're a third of the way through the season. That is something that's been missing from a lot of teams' lineup. Nicholas Kurtz from the Oakland, and I will continue to say it, the Oakland Athletics leads the league right now with 48 walks and 65 strikeouts. He's done that in 176 at-bats. And for a guy who's 245 pounds, he's got 6 stolen bases and 7 attempts. Big men can steal bases, damn it.
Yeah.
Not quite country breakfast. He was one of my favorites when he played for Kansas City, too.
Hmm.
I'll never forget that wild card game where the A's they had a lead, they blew it. But the funniest part of that game was when Billy Butler stole second base and they were doing this thing where they were doing the speed kills thing. Seeing this big 260-pound man stealing second base and then doing that was the funniest thing in the entire game. You don't see big guys steal second anymore, and that's the thing. As for stolen bases, now that I'm on that topic, 2 players have 20 or more steals, 1 in each league. Jose Ramirez has 20 stolen bases in 22 attempts. And then you have rookie Naismith Nunez from the Washington Nationals. 27 hits. He's hitting a .189. His on base is under 300. He's got 34 strikeouts, 22 walks. His lack of ability to get on base reminds me a lot of Billy Hamilton. Billy Hamilton was great for a very long time. His only issue was he was not going to end up because a testament to a good base stealer, and I'll say it that way. Vince Coleman, Lou Brock, they knew how to get on base. You have to know how to get on base as a base stealer. That's why when Rickey Henderson ended his career with 1,430 steals, no. I think it's 14. No. I'm forgetting the number now, and it's really bothering me. 1408? No, I think it's 1406. I'll have to make sure. Rickey
For the most stolen bases
in a career, yes, I think it's 1,406.
Okay.
Yes, 1,406. But Rickey got on base 40% of the time. That's how he was a good base stealer. But Naismith Nunez, he's a 25-year-old rookie. He hasn't had enough at-bats to be considered good. Like, this is his first real amount of playing time. He played 51 games in 24, 39 and 25, and then he's already played 48 games. He's walked more than he has but he's also struck out more. If he can get the ball on the ground more often and use his speed to beat out, because that's how Ichiro is so great. Ichiro could walk, but he could hit balls into the second deck in batting practice. That's how unique Ichiro was. Because when I think of Rickey Henderson, I don't think of the fact that he was a base stealer. Yes, he stole 1,400 bases, but he nearly had 300 home runs in his career that spanned from 1979 until 2003. And even after that, he played until 2007, technically, outside of baseball in independent leagues. So there's that. But still, 297 home runs for the all-time steal king. I don't think anyone's going to ever come close to that. Because Rickey Henderson at his peak is better than most people's entire careers. Even when he wasn't stealing 100 bases, he led the league in walks and stolen bases at 39 years old. So if you ever think about what Barry Bonds was doing as he got older, Rickey Henderson was doing that while he was basically sleepwalking to second base. So that's the difference between old school and new school, because people talk about the rules now. Rickey Henderson wouldn't have stopped at 130 back in 1982. I think he has closer to 200 stolen bases in a season. And as absurd as that number sounds, I think it's correct. I really do.
Yep. The best base stealer of all time. I don't know how he does it.
It's because the truth is, if you ever wanted to know how he got such a good jump, it's because he got a good walking lead. And they always tell you, get a good secondary lead, just don't get picked off. But
Mm-hmm.
Pudge Rodriguez had a weird career as well. He played at the same time when he was a rookie back in 1993. He caught Nolan Ryan, who was 46. And I'm pretty sure, I don't think they were ever teammates, but between 1993 and 2003, he ended up having to play against Ricky Henderson, who would, even though he was an A from known as being an athletic, he played for the A's, the Yankees, the Blue Jays, the Padres, the Angels, the Mets, the Mariners, the Padres again, and the Red Sox, and I think he played for 9 teams. So he was Oakland, New York, well, the Yankees, the Padres, the Mets, Mariners, Red Sox, Blue Jay, Angel, Dodger. And he spent so long in the American League, it's insane to think his numbers are that different. But he only hit 259 in the National League for the 6 years he was there. Just 259, but he still stole 136 bases and only got caught 42 times. So think about that. The man stole 1,406 bases and he got caught 335 times, which is still the record, by the way. But he's the only guy, one of the only guys to ever go in his last season, not get caught once. Went 3 for 3 in his last year at 44 years old. That's the best thing about it. 44 years old, does not care. He does not have the record for the oldest guy to steal a base, though. Julio Franco does still. The oldest to hit a home run, oldest to hit a walk-off. 49 years, I think he was 48 years old, 48 to 49. But that just shows you. Even now, Julio Franco finally has stepped away from baseball, and he's in his 70s. He hasn't played a game of baseball since 2012, I think. But he was playing baseball in the winter leagues out in Puerto Rico or the Dominican Republic in his late 40s. But if you ever want to really think about how hard it is to play baseball as long as Ricky Henderson did, he played in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s. He played in 4 different decades. So few players have done that, though. But if you ever want to know of someone who did, Jamie Moyer is another one who played in 4 different decades. He debuted in the 80s, pitched in the 90s, pitched in the 2000s, and his last year was 2012. So he played at the same time Nolan Ryan did. And Nolan Ryan retired when he got released back in 93. So just a little something to get your mind going a little bit. That so many players have gone and had intertwining careers. It's amazing. I'm really gonna miss when knuckleballers actually do stop. Well, there's a lot of guys who are doing knuckleballs in college now, so it may or may not be extinct, but can a knuckleball beat ABS? The answer is yes, actually. I think it was 2 years. No. It was a week and a half ago. Matt Waldron was pitching. He threw a knuckleball that was a strike. Catcher challenged and ended up being a strike. But I can't imagine having to be the guy who has to challenge that pitch when it's dancing all over the place.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Baseball Club tonight. Hopefully I was able to see you all good tonight because for some reason my StreamYard kept not hearing you, but That's okay. I will see you all in a few weeks for the next episode. Take care.